The bell has tolled. It is the top of the hour. So I would like to welcome you all to the 78th annual meeting of Bank Fund Credit Union. My name is Eli Vasquez. I'm the CEO and Managing Director at the Credit Union. Board of Directors and committee chairs. I'd like to thank all of those joining us here in person and those that are connected virtually. I would also like to thank all of our member owners for their deep participation in the Credit Union Cooperative. Your loyalty and participation is what fuels our success. Credit unions were formed to provide collective benefits and financial services to member owners through shared resources and the cooperative principles of operation and governance. The Bank Fund purpose statement to cultivate and enable shared prosperity through trusted financial services continues to motivate us each day and is so representative of this cooperative spirit. We are very proud to be part of the credit union movement and to continue the tradition of offering personal service and great value to our member owners around the globe. Today, you will hear updates on the continued growth and financial strength of Bank Fund. Last year, we surpassed 100,000 member owners for the first time and achieved one of our highest annual growth membership rates in the past decade. We are now the 55th largest credit union among 4,550 in the United States, with our assets totaling more than $6.5 billion. Through our growth comes our strength and stability. Our very strong financial position enabled us in 2024 to return to member owners nearly $80 million in dividends and $2.3 million in rebates and mortgage cash reward credits, while continuing to deliver exceptional value through very competitive lending rates and very low fees. The overarching picture is that Bank Fund balance sheet and income position remain strong, thriving, and resilient. As we have a full agenda, I'll wrap up with these introductory comments and just cover a few formalities of the meeting. This meeting is being recorded. For those participating via Zoom webinar, closed caption is enabled, and individuals can turn that option on within their personal Zoom settings. If we experience technical issues with the virtual connection, we'll continue the meeting here in person since we have a large participation of attendees, and the meeting minutes will be made available on our website. Later in the meeting, we will answer questions from members. Please know that if you ask a question in person, your image will be recorded and may appear on our website. I would now like to introduce the Master of Ceremonies and President of the Board of Directors, Anne-Marie Goulde. Anne-Marie, the podium is yours.
Good afternoon and welcome to Bank Fund's 78th annual meeting. I want to welcome our membership, our board of directors, management, and staff to this meeting. First, let us begin with the confirmation of quorum. I have reviewed the list of attendees who have joined the annual meeting and can therefore confirm that we have a quorum of at least 15 members, or actually a lot more. The minutes from last year's annual meetings were provided along with a call for comments and questions. Having received no corrections or objections to the minutes are approved as presented. In accordance with the agenda, I will present the report of the Board of Directors. Then the Treasurer, Diane Dodd-Martin, will present the Treasurer's report. Next, Park Murugesh, the Chair of our Supervisory Committee, will provide a report from the Supervisory Committee. We will discuss any unfinished and new business, as well as answer questions submitted prior to the meeting. Finally, the results of the 2025 election will be announced by our acting secretary, Anne Rennie. Let me now read to you the report of the board president. I am pleased together with you today to celebrate another outstanding year for our credit union. Bank Fund successfully navigated a challenging economic environment in 2024 and continues to maintain strong earnings, robust net worth, and ample liquidity. Our financial strengths and stability stand as a testimony to our collective success. As Eli just mentioned, Bank Fund was able to return $79.9 million in dividends to its members in 2024. Our Global Rewards program continues to offer generous loan discounts and fee rebates, as well as premium checking account rates that contributed to substantial savings for our members. Bank Fund Beyond Visa cardholders took advantage of our most rewarding credit card, earning unlimited cash back on their purchases through My Card Rewards. Upgrades to Bank Fund systems continue to provide reliability and convenience for an optimal member experience. In 2024, investments in technology resulted in industry-leading loan processing and approval times, including mortgage approvals in as few as 2 days and mortgage closing in as few as 2 weeks. Voice ID, our fast and secure member authentication and expanded self-service capabilities within digital banking, offered more options for managing finances. And Bank Fund continues to prioritize safety and security to ensure peace of mind when transacting at home and abroad. Our webinar series and video tutorials continue to provide useful information on topics our members value, ranging from first-time home buying to cybersecurity and fraud awareness, and even tax reporting, in a format that is easy to view at the convenience of our members. Our success is a reflection of our dedication to innovation, member service, and operational excellence, and the strengths of our cooperative will continue to grow as we welcome more members and more participation in 2025. Members are the foundation of credit unions, and the board of directors, management, and staff are honored to serve you, your families, and your colleagues. On behalf of your Bank Fund team and board of directors, I thank you for your membership and your continued loyalty to our cooperative. With this, I would like to introduce Diane Dott-Martin, the board treasurer, who will present to you the report of the treasurer now. Diane, over to you, please.
Good afternoon, fellow members, and thank you, Anne-Marie, for the warm introduction. I would also like to express my gratitude to everyone present today, whether here in person or virtually, for your continued support and engagement with our credit union. As the board treasurer and chair of the finance committee, my role today is to provide an overview of the financial performance of the credit union over the calendar year 2024. I will keep my remarks focused on the key highlights as detailed in the annual report you received, which is also available on the website. The key takeaway is that Bank Fund Credit Union is financially strong with a healthy balance sheet and robust income performance. In 2024, member shares grew by 2%, or 111 million, reaching 5.7 billion by year end. This was driven by strong demand for share certificate offerings, which grew by 462 million, and was offset by a $351 million decline in checkings and savings accounts. On the asset side of the balance sheet, our loan portfolio remains strong, maintaining a 65% ratio to member shares. This stability contributed to a solid liquidity position with cash, cash equivalents, and investment positions increasing by $142 million, or 5.5%. Total assets grew to $6.5 billion, reflecting a 3% increase from the previous year. Our loan portfolio continues to reflect the high credit quality of our membership. Net charged-off loans remain very low at $2.3 million, or just 0.06% of average loan balances, which, as highlighted in the annual report, is amongst the lowest net charge-off ratios amongst our peers. We maintained a conservative allowance for loan losses at only 0.5% of gross loan balances. We achieved strong financial results through effective management of income and expenses. Total revenues increased by $44 million to $239 million, largely due to higher market rates on our investments and loan portfolio. Additionally, the credit union recognized an $11 million gain on the sale of Visa Class B shares. This is an unusual item, which is why I'm highlighting it. These were issued to the credit union in 2008 when Visa transitioned from a cooperative to a public company. The shares had been given to financial institutions of the Visa cooperative at the time, including the credit union, and were meant to cover certain Visa pending legal liabilities. Once these legal matters were resolved, these could be converted to regular shares. In 2024, Visa announced an exchange offer for these shares, which provided an attractive opportunity to sell them. On the expense side, we were able to support a significantly higher level of dividends paid to members. Dividend expense increased in 2024 by $21 million as a result of our members taking advantage of competitive rates on share certificates, the Global Rewards Premier checking account, and the new Jumbo Money Management Savings account. As a result, net income grew to $51 million, up from $41 million the prior year. We remain well capitalized and financially resilient. Member equity increased to over 13% of total assets at year end, significantly above the NCUA's well-capitalized threshold of 7%. Our liquidity position also remains comfortable, ending the year with $566 million in cash and cash equivalents. We are optimistic about the year ahead. Our focus will be on prudently growing the loan book, appropriately managing our investment portfolio, and controlling expenses. Our increasing membership will support our ability to continue member give back in the form of lower loan rates and lower fees, highly competitive savings rates, and attractive reward points. In closing, I would like to express appreciation to the credit union's treasury team, including Charles Bangert and Tatia Vavra, for their support of the Finance Committee. And let me also thank the other members of the Finance Committee, Vipul Bhagat, Van Pulley, Anne Rennie, and Amadou Sai, for their hard work and commitment to safeguarding the credit union's financial strength. Thank you once again for your trust and continued support. Together, we look forward to another year of growth and success for Bank Fund Credit Union. Thank you. Anne Marie, over to you.
Thank you very much, Diane, for this informative report. I would now like to invite Pak Murugan for the Supervisory Committee report. Thank you, Pak.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Anne Marie. Under the Federal Credit Union Act, the Supervisory Committee is responsible for confirming that management's financial reporting objectives have been met and that management practices and procedures are sufficient to safeguard members' assets. In carrying out this responsibility, the committee oversees the activities of Bank Fund's Internal Audit Department, evaluates the adequacy and effectiveness of internal controls established by management, and obtains an annual audit of Bank Fund's financial statements performed by an independent certified public accounting firm. The committee engaged the auditing firm of Moss Adams to conduct an audit and express an opinion on bank funds financial statements for the period January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024. Moss Adams has completed their audit, which was performed in accordance with the auditing standards generally accepted in the United States of America. Their unmodified opinion, along with Bank Fund's audited financial statements, is available on Bank Fund's website, located at bfsfcu.org. We confirm that the auditor's report is based on information obtained from Bank Fund's records and through transaction testing and direct observation by the auditors, acting on behalf of the Supervisory Committee, and that to the best of our knowledge and belief, the statements covered by their opinion are presented fairly. In closing, I'd like to thank members of the Supervisory Committee and Bank Fund's internal audit team, Vinu and the team, and of course, I would also like to extend my thanks and gratitude to Eli and Anne-Marie and the board for their sponsorship and stewardship. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Pak, for your report. Item 6 of our agenda requires that we review unfinished business. I can confirm that there is no unfinished business. Is there any new business anyone would raise? If not, I would welcome Eli back to the podium to answer questions from members. Eli. There is a question. There is a mic that will come to you.
Yes, hello. Can you please define what do you call unfinished business? Thank you.
I would like management to clarify what all is confirmed and under unfinished business, and then we'll take it from here.
On
Or maybe you
so unfinished business are items that carried over from the last meeting. So if we have something that was raised, which there was not, that we're kind of reporting back at the annual meeting. We will have a Q&A that if you have questions, like what you shared with me when we were talking in the audience, can be raised during the Q&A.
Yeah.
I
Which
would
is-
like therefore to bring the following. Last year, when we had the annual meeting, you were people who were not here in person, were not able to provide and ask questions on the Zoom. I found that very different because at that time, another thing that you were saying was that you were letting the people who were not present here, that they can probably provide the questions in advance. However, you never have sent an information of what can be written and when before the annual meeting. So that was one of the concerns that I had at that time. I appreciate very much that afterward you said that you can answer to all questions. And that's when we start discussing the issue of rounding numbers. And then what happened to me, I think in maybe February 2023, which was that on your portal or on our portal, we got an issue where the minimum payment on Visa was higher than what was the money due. So we discussed that for about, Mary and I, for about a year and a half or more, 2 years. We finally actually noticed that for 1 year, from that March 2023 until March 2024, we were kind of aware that the IT system has been rounding the numbers without notifying us, and we were accepting that. Then we only, a year later, started to review what the IT system, the third-party contractor was providing us with. And I think that I really commended Mary, because all of that was at the end resolved. But however, my issue last year was that because I was not able to pose that question, particularly not at that time, to the supervisory committee, which did not have in the annual report that something like this was happening. And I've been asking, can you tell at least how much money? Do you have any contingency? Do you have any idea what is going on? That was never included, no place. So that was the issue at that time. Thank you very much.
So I don't want to speak for Anne Marie, but I think we've kind of moved to the question and answer session. So if, are we okay then? that
Yeah,
there
I
is
think
no
we
new
should move to
business?
the question and
I'll take
answer
that as the
session, but just on your question, of course, all the numbers of the credit union are audited, and we have satisfactory audit reports. And you know, if there is anything that the supervisory committee can also clarify to you, we will do so. So with that, I think we should move over to the formal
Thank you.
question and answer session.
Thank
Hilai,
you.
please.
So I would, if there's anything else you wanted to add, I want to give you a chance to add it, because what I want to be respectful to is that we have hundreds of members online, and I would like to balance between something that's, you know, unique, but address what you posed as a broader issue. Is there anything else? And I'll be
I
happy
only
to
wanted to
address that.
say that, yes, you used the same words last year. We have been audited, but that's the point, how you have been audited and what you were reporting to your auditors. Because we did have, in our experience in IFC, in the World Bank, including IMF probably, we did have clients who were audited, but after that were identified that they were all in Cayman Islands and things like that. So, you know, audit,
Okay.
it also depends very much of the quality and what do you provide the auditor with, what kind of information. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
No, thank you very much. So let me just, I guess, frame this a little bit. The issue that our member has raised, and I'm not, you know, naming names because she did not share that, so I want to be respectful of that. But the issue that was raised is, first of all, thank you for having brought that issue to our attention. It was a question of, in our credit card statements, there were some pennies rounding difference in what the minimum payment was. And it was not an issue of members paying more than they had to. In the end, you know, the credit cards always, if you make a payment, the entire amount is credited to your credit card. So it had nothing to do with that. It took some time to get the vendor, which is for the vast majority of financial institutions, a third-party provider, to correct that in their system so that it reflects to the penny the minimum payment, and that has been adjusted. So let me just, I guess, address this in a broader sense, and I welcome PAC to answer any questions. We have a very robust governance structure. We have a supervisory committee that, in my experience of, you know, having served on boards of directors of a credit union and my many years in credit unions, is probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest, out there, and is very thorough and very participative. We have external regulators that audit us, review all the reports, all of the complaints, all of the member complaints, including one, you know, the one that you raised. And so they're very well aware of that, and the supervisory committee followed up on that. So I can assure members there is no issue there in terms of anything other than, again, I thank you for having raised that. And, you know, even little things like that, the accuracy of pennies on a minimum payment, which is what it was all about, is important. So I appreciate that you raised that, because we don't want that to mask the tremendous value of a credit card that is probably one of the most rewarding, you know, reward programs out there. A card that is, you know, so very actively used by our members, And so we don't want even something like that to call anything into question. I encourage our members to go out and look at the credit card. The rewards are tremendous, and you can get up to 5% cash back depending on the type of transaction. So we did not receive any questions online. So really, we are open here for questions from the audience. So I asked if there's a mic for you to come up and submit your questions.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to the communication department of the bank, who aroused my curiosity to be here. I think this is the first bank I've been part of that constantly update their members. So kudos to you on that. And so out of curiosity, I'm here. And the only reason why I'm here is to find out, where am I in all this? As a member or as a client? I need to understand and congratulations to the billions and being the best. But to me, I really don't understand how it's beneficial to me. Then I put my money in your bank and I spend it and I replenish it. So who am I? Am I a member? And if I'm a member, what makes me a member? Or am I a client just because I have an account with you? And I think that's the most important thing for me to understand my position in the bank. And if I understand that, maybe I'll get to the point where I will notice minute things like she's noticed on the credit card. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you for your question. So the best way to, excellent question, the best way to address that is you are a member owner. Members of the credit union, as part of the cooperative model, are actually the owners of the credit union. A commercial bank, the stockholders are the owners, and it's in proportion to how much stock they own. When I joined the credit union movement the first time, I came from the for-profit world, right? And the for-profit world was maximize revenue, minimize costs, charge as much as you can on fees, so that I can pay, big dividends to the stockholders. In credit unions, which is what attracted me to it, it's the reverse. It is, we do everything to minimize how much we charge our members in loans, maximize how much we can pay them in deposits. We are among the lowest out there in terms of fees. I mean, we've done the comparison, shared it with the board. And so as a member owner, every member, no matter how much money they have in the credit union, has one vote. So you will hear the election results. That is a balance of the cooperative movement, that no matter how small you are in terms of deposits, you have the same equal voice as someone that has, hundreds of thousands or more on deposit. And so that's the business model and the cooperative model. Where your money goes is that depositors have various needs, right? I mean, you need transactional accounts. We have checking accounts that are among the lowest out there with no fees. Our global rewards checking, which is based on your relationship level, pays a tremendous dividend. And so comparing that to other financial institutions is important to do, because it really is a great value. Some members want longer term savings. So we have share certificates that we offer, and it's important to, carefully structure those so that you're not trying to outguess the market. And so we've got a wide range of share certificates. We also have money market and savings accounts that our members have, that they just want, quicker, immediate access to the money. And there's various reasons why members may choose to do those. I think, I've got one of my team members some feedback that in the pre-meeting there, a member was asking about our rates, and occasionally you will go out there and you'll see different rates, and different organizations have different needs for funding. So sometimes you'll see very high rates. We just went through an extraordinary year where the Federal Reserve was the biggest competitor in rates, right? They were intentionally raising rates to draw liquidity from the system to slow inflation. And there's an expression that's called "don't fight the Fed" out there. And you know, it's impossible to fight the Fed to try to say, I want to pay what treasuries are paying. Well, now we're getting close to what our rates are closer to what the Treasury is offering. But competitors have different models. You'll see banks that we look for sustainability. We like to provide sustained value and try to keep the rates as consistent and value oriented as possible for a long period of time. I remember during the financial crisis where you know, some of the larger banks, I mean, they just took their rates down to zero. And then when things picked back up, they started paying up for deposits. Why? Because, you know, I'd rather not name names, but there are institutions out there as credit unions, we cannot charge more than 18% on a loan. There are banks out there that charge in excess of 30% on credit cards. And so in that sort of business model, I mean, they can charge a lot more, they can pay a lot more on deposit, or a little more on deposits. In a relative sense, it's just a little more, in order to attract funding, just to lend it out at 30%. So that's how we're different. I think we are members of the credit union, and those of us that, you know, are volunteers like our board and our employees, we truly value the mission of this member-owned, not-for-profit cooperative. And we're in it for the long term, and it's important what type of business we engage in. We're glad we don't engage in that sort of, you know, high interest rate lending or things like that. So that's where your money is going, and that's why we always stress participation. The more members that borrow from us instead of going somewhere else, the better it is, because it brings more money that we can then pay the savers more. And we always encourage members, and part of what credit unions do is we provide a lot of member education. I'll give you an example. You know, we see sometimes a member will go to a dealership to buy a car, and they take you right to the financing office right away. 0%. What payment do you want that to be is what they ask you, right? And so all of a sudden you're at a disadvantage. And what we counsel members is go in, get pre-approved first with the credit union, because we have great rates. And when you layer on global rewards benefits, they're even better, and negotiate the best price on the car possible, because that's where you're going to get the greatest value. 0% financing doesn't come for free. Somebody's marking something up to make money there. And we see that because member then comes back to us and, you know, refinances with us. And so that's what we encourage from members with mortgages, with the credit card, with a car. But that's where your money is going. We're putting it to work to lend it out to the members that have borrowing needs, and try to, on a very sustainable basis, keep the fees low and pay you great rates on savings. So I hope that helps. Any other questions? Yes.
Hello. I have a question, but I'd like to preface my question with a compliment to the credit union. I've been with the credit union over 40 years. Now, I basically joined as a baby. During those years, I paid off my mortgage, which I had a 30-year mortgage from the credit union. And during the financial crisis, the credit union was one of the very few institutions that did not sell mortgages to whoever, you know, which caused a lot of problems for for other mortgage holders. So that was one big benefit. And I always feel that that the credit union provides the best rates. I also feel that we could do better, the credit union could do better maybe in providing more services, because I'm very happy overall with the services, like financial advisory services, but okay, maybe in the future. But now to my question, since we are a federal credit union, are you in any way subject to, or will you be subject to Trump cuts? Or planned Trump cuts? And second question, will you continue the DEI policies at the credit union? Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent question. First of all, thank you for your long-term membership. It's members like you that again, sustain us and allow us to thrive and grow. So we are a federally regulated financial institution. One of the big things about credit unions is that they have a federal tax exemption. We do pay state property taxes and things like that, but part of the trade-off for not being able to charge in excess of, the 18%, that's just one of them. We have volunteer board of directors, is that we are tax exempt. The entire Movement and Trade Association is very focused on that we encourage members to defend that tax exemption. There are 144 million credit union members throughout the country. Like I mentioned earlier, 4,550 credit unions throughout the country. And what is important is to retain that tax exemption. There has been some ongoing talk and mainly driven by the bankers to challenge that tax exemption and ask that it be repealed. So that is probably one of the biggest things we, as an industry, not just us, have our eye on. There's also the issue of what's called interchange rates on credit cards. So, supporting credit cards and a reward program and things like that. And then all of the infrastructure to provide that payment method for merchants throughout the country is not free. It's a substantial amount of money. So there has been a challenge on interchange, but it's not as threatening right now as the tax exemption, but that's important to be retained because that's what helps cover the costs of operating the card. As far as DEI, I guess, it's great that you asked that because I received that early on as a question from our staff. We have not changed, nor do we plan to change a single thing about that. We are probably one of the most diverse credit unions out there. From our membership base, 25% are international. From our staff, from my executive team, from the management team, and we are proud of that. And we, we're very focused on being a high-performance organization. You can ask any of my team. We, strive to be very innovative and constantly doing new things, and we believe we have to have, the best people to do that. But we also believe that in order to retain those best people, you have to have very fair compensation for sure, but it's the work environment that is critical. And we have a work environment that people just love the credit union, love our members and who they serve, and love working with each other. Even though we work really, really, really hard, just love working with each other. So I'm not, I'm not worried about that. I mean, we continue to have our groups that talk about the variety of cultures, and we support individuals that are just all over the spectrum, and we're happy that we do that.
Thank you so much again for your beautiful work and helping the bank and fund staff to achieve their goals. Just a quick question. In recent, maybe 7 years, there has been a lot of new IT platforms that came about, Wise, Revolut, and other such platforms. There's a lot of crypto exchanges and things like that that operate only online. And each time you would go to these platforms, either to enable a payment overseas, and there's probably plenty of people amongst us who travel overseas and may have relatives overseas and so on. Unfortunately, bank, fund, credit union does not or rarely comes up on the list of linked banks, such as like I had to go like to Capital One and TD. They are appearing on their lists.
Mhm.
So what's the plan for linking to these payment widgets, if you will? Thank you.
Excellent question. International money movement is very, very important to our members. We are, I think, probably the third or fourth credit union among those 4,500 in international money movement. You can guess who another one is. And another one is the largest credit union in the country, which has, armed forces all over the world. So one of our big projects this year is creating a payment hub. And part of it is, there's the FedNow service, which was established to provide instant payments through the Fed network. And so we are working to get that working first through that FedNow network. The first part of it is to receive instant payments and then to send payments. We were one of the first credit unions out there to get the Zelle. And I know that's not wire transfers, but it's a very effective and highly used method of moving money by our members, and it's free. But potentially this payments platform might offer solutions for that. The names that you listed are very familiar to us. We've engaged with some of them and came very close to integrating them where you would have seen them, but we were uncomfortable with the privacy related contracting issues. We are very, very careful about our members' privacy, about our data. We invest a lot in data security. And we were at the point where we were uncomfortable that to one of those, we were essentially being asked to sell our members' names. And we said, sorry, not doing that. So we moved away from it. Perhaps it'll change because, as you said, the market's evolved. And we actually are working with one of those parties right now to investigate and incorporate it. So I think you'll see very positive changes in that respect. I will say that, we maintain very active monitoring of our exchange rates with our current provider, which used to be the old Western Union Money Services. We have integrated that into our eWires platform. That is really, a really neat platform. Many times I've done wires with other institutions. It can be very cumbersome and complex, but that's where we are on the payments front. Yes.
Hi, thank you. Would you consider, on that topic a little bit related, is there education, or would you consider some educational modules or seminars on international money movement?
I think that's a great idea. We'll take it down. I'm looking to my team. I don't know if we've done those, but one of the things that we have put on the website is a lot more videos and tutorials and training. We partner with the staff associations of both of the sponsors and the family associations, but that's an excellent one to put out there.
I'd like to know, what's the advantage of putting your money in the money market or getting a certificate?
So a certificate just ties your money up a little more formally and you don't have as immediate access. A money market, you have immediate access to it. We have different types of money markets, and we have our jumbo money market, which is for higher balances, but that pays a much higher rate than just the savings account or the, lower balances of money market accounts. So it's really a question of that. Do you have immediate need for the funds? We have them as short as, months versus years. But one needs to be prepared that if you need to withdraw that money, there are penalties associated with it. So that's the biggest difference. They all fall under the insurance umbrella. And I'll take advantage to, I was chatting with some of the other members. We are part of the NCUSIF, which is a separate insurance fund for credit unions. It is the oversight is by the NCUA, which is our regulator, instead of the FDIC, which is for banks. We feel that the fund is very strong position. Taxpayers have never had to pay a penny associated with losses. It is funded by credit unions. It maintains a real healthy capital ratio. And the guidelines are similar to FDIC. Yeah, it's a good insurance fund, and your certificates are also part of that insurance coverage. And
the money market is more advantageous. You earn more than on having a certificate.
it depends on the certificate term. We have some specials right now that are up to 3.875 on certificates. So it depends. So it's something that you do want to be looking at, but again, you need to be prepared to, have that money locked up for a little bit. I mean, you can withdraw it with a penalty, but that's the difference. The money market is more instant and fluid. And we're kind of running up on time. We could probably take one more question.
So just a very quick one. I'm been in a lot less in the credit union than the lady that spoke earlier. I only got quarter of a century, but so question on fraud. We see a lot of communications around fraud. You've mentioned it actually in your presentations. How big an issue is it? What are you doing? Just interested in that whole area. Thank you.
Great question. So it is a huge issue for the industry. There are a lot of fraudsters out there. There are, organizations, full organizations that their sole purpose is to deceive and trick people into doing something. We have very robust systems. We have a lot of controls, a lot of oversight. First of all, we have invested so much money in very advanced systems to protect member data. Unfortunately, there have been so many data breaches and so many organizations that one should assume, I assume my data is out there, right? Because medical office breaches. And so it's really about being very, very cautious. And just like we tell our members, we conduct very robust phishing campaigns about, emails and text messages. I'm sure a lot of you, like me, get bombarded with text messages. If you're not in my phone book, delete and block. That's what I do, no matter how enticing. But we do see situations where sometimes that happens. Unfortunately, there are fraudsters that are out there, and they take advantage of the data that's been breached out there. And, through the ACH system, which is, part of the benefits, but the downfall of it, that if somebody has your account number, which appears on your check, they can debit your account. They just send a debit, but they have to get a bank to do that for them, or another financial institution. there are protections that we have a lot of time to reverse that. What's important is for a member to notify us right away. So it's really awareness from the members, skepticism when you get phone calls. If I get a phone call from a financial institution, I'll say, thank you, I'll call you back. And I call the real organization because they can even spoof phone numbers. They can even take your voice and make AI imitations of it to use later. This is not to scare people, it's just be cautious. And if you follow the protocol, don't share your password with anyone, and authorization codes, do not read them back. We will never ask you for your authorization code. We have that when you get the code. So I think that's the biggest protection for fraud. Awareness, just being careful. And having said that, I'll close with, we are looking even at more advanced biometric systems and things like that to, monitor fraud, like, beyond what we do already, which is, are you logging in from a new address? And, but awareness, awareness, awareness. So with that, we've run right on schedule. And so I will hand it off to Anne-Marie to take us to the next phase.
Thank you, Eli. I want to thank you all for really very, very interesting questions and active participation, and you, Eli, for clarifying many things. And I would also say that, one of the benefits of a credit union is your closeness to your board of directors, who are all volunteers and all members and are in the same boat. But with that, we come to the highlight of today's meeting, which is the elections. And I would like to invite Anne Rennie, our acting secretary, to open the envelope and tell us what the membership has decided to do.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. For several years now, Bank Fund has partnered with a third-party firm, Q's eVote, which has managed the election process. This year, we received a total of 4,839 votes, and the results were sealed by Q's eVotes and are now ready to be opened. The three candidates receiving the most votes will be appointed for 3-year terms to the board. Very secure. Okay, sorry, all right. Okay, so the three candidates are Heidi Henrik Hansen. She's an incumbent who received 2,511 votes. Diane Dodd Martin, also an incumbent who received 2,500 votes. And Caroline Galvin, who is a new member, who received 1,524 votes. So I'd like to congratulate all the winners and welcome the new member of the board. The full results of the election will be published later today on the website. So I will turn it over to Eli for some closing remarks, and thank you very much.
Great, thank you, Anne. And congratulations to our returning board members. Congratulations to, I think I saw Caroline. Congratulations, welcome to the board. Thank you for all of you for being here. Thank you for your participation. One of our most important things is just hearing from our members. We have robust surveys that you probably get about interactions. We really look at those carefully because we're always aspiring on how to improve. And again, participation in the cooperative is what is essential. So please go out there and tell all your colleagues and friends. We want to grow membership. Family membership is very important. The more people we bring into the cooperative with borrowing needs that can then evolve to be long-term members, the better for all of the credit union members. So thank you for your attention. We look forward to a great year ahead, and thank you for coming.